Ho, 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 mateys! Welcome to Jester Brothers Cartoon Travelers, where my brother and I explore the vast and beautiful worlds of animation for the perfect place to call home. However, we have established that we like to mix it up from time to time and try some new ideas to explore these cartoon universes, and we're doing it again. Why are you wearing sunglasses in the wintertime?
Because. Okay, I didn't actually. That's a good point. Because, you see, this isn't a Santa hat, this is an elf hat.
Okay.
And I'm the elf that overthrew Santa. Some would say.
Is this like
Some
you
would
were the
say.
Grim Reaper?
Some would say that I'm a rebel without a clause.
Did you do all of this just to set up that joke?
No, I actually just thought about it as I was doing it. Straight
Well, I'm
up.
impressed. That was pretty good. Listen, for a lot of people, winter has the sun out, so maybe you do need sunglasses.
That's true.
But, listen, there's nothing that makes somebody cooler than wearing sunglasses. That is a fact.
It's true. It's literally when you write cool in the emoji thing on your phone, it pulls up a dude with sunglasses.
Oh, well, I actually think that's true.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, listen. As of this recording, we have not actually seen the results of the Halloween draft that we did about 2 months ago.
Yes.
The reason being that I am about to take parental leave, and this is going to be the last episode that you hear from me for a little bit. We're trying to get ahead a little bit. I would say that as of the time you're hearing this, my baby was probably born like a month ago-ish, if not about a month and a half. So,
Cute.
Trying to do that so that I can maybe just have some episodes recorded. I don't know how much longer it will be till you hear another episode from me. But we are trying to get ahead. And as a result, we really have no idea what happened with the previous draft. And just to remind everybody, we did a draft of Halloween specials, and the winner was going to get to pick who drafts first in the next draft that we do.
Yes.
Well, while you all have heard that, and you have all voted, I hope, we have not heard how the votes went.
Yes.
So we're going to approach this one differently. We are once again doing a draft of holiday specials.
Yes.
And we're very excited for it. However, for this one, the winner is going to pick what the next draft is, since we don't know what the previous results were, and we'll put both of the results together for that.
Plus a tasty beverage with caffeine in it, probably.
That's right. For this one, we're gonna buy the winner a coffee.
Yes. So I am extra motivated, which I didn't even need because I'm already competitive for no reason. So I'm very excited. And I'm the elf that overthrew Santa. So get ready, Santa. That's you now.
Perfect. And because we don't know what the result is, we are going to have to decide who goes first when we start going back and forth, picking holiday specials for our teams. So, Lu, I am going to once again have you pick a number. Or actually, you're not going to pick a number. I'm going to roll a 20-sided dice.
Yes.
It is going to be 1 to 10 or 11 to 20. Okay, I have rolled it.
All right, I'm going to turn around, show the camera so they know what's up.
I will. All right, gonna write this down for you, audience, who are on YouTube. And if your audio listeners, just take my word for it. All right, I've shown. Go ahead. Do you think it was 1 to 10 or 11 to 20?
I'm gonna say 11 to 20.
This time, I'm afraid you are incorrect. It was 5.
I don't have the Christmas luck. I prayed to the Halloween gods last time, but I don't. Never mind, I won't go into that joke, but yeah, I didn't have luck. No luck on this one.
All right, well, this works out because for the very first draft that we did, you got to go first. Now, for the second draft we're doing, I get to go first.
God, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. I really wish I'd gotten first.
So the winner of this draft will get to pick what the next draft is, and the winner of the past draft that we did for Halloween will get to decide who goes first in it. So I actually feel like this is nice and round.
Yes.
And
you vote, so put in the comments and we'll tote them all up by the end of January, we'll say probably?
That is right, audience. You are going to be voting on which team you think is best at the end.
Yes. Anything
else to get into before we start going back and forth here?
I'm so anxious. I'm not joking. I don't know why. I'm so here's the thing, everyone. I know Halloween way better than Christmas. And I don't even like a lot of the Christmas specials that are popular, so I feel like I'm gonna end up pissing off the audience as we go through this regardless of how good my list is. But you know what? We'll find out. Um and maybe we'll see. We'll see. I'm definitely less confident going into this one, but we'll see.
All right. I felt pretty good about the Halloween draft that we did. I liked the strategy. I'm actually less confident in this one as well. Uh because I almost think I know holiday specials too well, and I'm going to be prone to pick things that I think everybody has seen. And in actuality, it's kind of obscure.
Okay.
Um
Okay.
so it's going to be interesting. I do have a loose strategy in mind, but it's harder for me on this one to separate my heart from it and pick something because it's the right pick. Um but I do
Okay.
know exactly what I am going to do with the very first pick.
And what is that?
I'm so sorry, Lou, but I am going to take How the Grinch Stole Christmas with the
Christ on
number
a
one draft
cracker,
pick on the
dude.
board.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the best one.
I believe that this is Lou and I's favorite. Um, if you listen to the Halloween draft, and I won't spoil it for you if you haven't, Lou and I also had the same first pick that we were planning on drafting there. It happens again, but this time, luckily, I'm first. And I'm very excited because every single holiday, every Christmas, uh, this is the most reliable cartoon for me. I never get bored of it. It brings me joy every time. It still holds up after all this time. Unlike some of the other ones that sort of age despite being classic, right?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people love the live action ones. Some say that that one's better. That's not a an opinion that I hold.
No, me either.
Um, this captures the whimsiness of Dr. Seuss. And I think it also has that holiday spirit effect. It has the music. And we've talked before about, if you've listened to other episodes that we've done for the holidays, what makes a Christmas special great is unique. It's not necessarily, it doesn't rely on it being the most high quality thing ever. It just has to like hit a couple notes. And this one hits every single note for me. For nostalgia, uh, for whimsy, for Christmas spirit, and really just it is good too. It's
Yeah,
a
it is really
genuinely
good.
good special that stands the test of time. And I think that this is the best first pick that you can pick.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's my favorite animation. It's got the vibes. It doesn't actually exclusively it avoids a lot of the issues of a lot of things that I have with a lot of Christmas specials. It doesn't feel hokey. It doesn't feel like the moral is shoehorned in. It doesn't actually make sense with the morals of the people. The Who's are like this. The Who's are, that's the problem with doing the live action adaptation. Is everyone in the live action Grinch were terrible people. So when the moral comes through at the end, it's like not believable that any of them would actually suddenly just be like that out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
if anything, you want the Grinch to actually get revenge, and you love that the Grinch is hating on everybody. And for the animated one, you still love the Grinch just because the design is good and just because the character is so well done, well voiced. A good villain character, antagonist, whatever. But then you get it's you get the animation. You still have the it's not about the presents, but here's all the presents, which I think is probably the only issue. But it doesn't that's only if you overthink it. It doesn't feel that way when you watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
All right. All right. Well, you ready for mine? My counter pick?
I am, and I'm very curious to see if you snipe my next choice from me.
Oh. That makes me almost want to try to snipe. I'm not going to lie. But I'm more
Well,
afraid of the repercussions because I actually don't think it would be a good snipe anyway. So I'm going to go with Frosty the Snowman.
okay. So tell me why you're taking Frosty with your number one pick.
So, honestly, kind of same logic as Grinch. I think that it's something that just talks about generally believing in goodwill and in magic. There's no like, it does feel a little hokey, but it's like the kind of like Rankin and Bass Christmas cheese. Um, I think as far as the Rankin and Bass things go, too, it actually holds up the best because it doesn't use the stop motion animation,
Hmm.
which can feel weird and it's much less problematic than a lot of the other ones turned out to be as time went on. Um, and when I watch it, we talked about this in our other episode, the Rankin Bass specials in general, and exploring that cartoon world. I love this one the most because it's got this like charm and feeling of magic, but it's also the people are cool. I like the characters. I like the kids, I like the police officer even, and that's amazing. Frosty's great. The Santa Claus rendition is great. The magician is like
Yeah.
one of my favorite characters in any Christmas thing ever. So I think when it comes to like classic staying power, I think that this one actually is my true favorite and has the most going for it of all the other ones on my list. Eh,
You know what?
minus not I don't actually think that's totally true, and I'll get to those ones on the list later. But I think this is the most iconic that fits those things.
Okay. I totally agree with you. I think it's interesting that both of these two are so palatable. They're
Yeah.
very easy to watch because they're on the shorter side.
Yeah.
They give you the nostalgia, but it's not a huge time commitment. And I think that you and I are kind of both suckers for 2D animation.
Oh, totally.
Uh,
Yeah.
Even more so than whether it's stop motion, claymation, motion capture, CGI.
I
I
mean,
gravitate
I just
toward the
think
2D.
I agree with you, but I think Halloween, like a Studios and Nightmare Before Christmas, did just like decide that stop motion was for Halloween instead, and they haven't really
That's,
gone back since then.
I mean, that's a fair point. You don't see too many more stop motion Christmas specials coming out. I think it's been tried.
You know my theory? It's because any uncanny valley stuff works in Halloween's favor, but it works against Christmas hard because you don't want Christmas to look creepy or weird. You want it to look polished and cute and fun.
I mean, it didn't stop them back then, and people still think about those as the most nostalgic things for them.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
it's the
fair.
current generation would not have the same take.
That's what I'm wondering. Actually leave us in the comments if you are in like let's see. I'm almost 30. If you're younger than that, let me know. Like what's your nostalgic Christmas choices? Do you have a different take on those old stop motion ones? I'm
Well, and can
curious.
I add that when you think back on Rudolph, it's very wholesome. And, I'm sure we'll have more time for Rudolph later in the draft, but I am now thinking if somebody made something like that today, I almost can't picture that tone being recaptured seriously. Like, and I don't know what it is. Is it because the world is cynical? Uh,
That might be
I
it.
I can't picture that animation style be taken as seriously as it was back then and being wholesome. I feel like it would be satire if we saw it,
See, I think
or
I think
too childish to where it does not resonate with an adult audience. I don't know.
I don't know. It's weird because I think Paranorman has a very wholesome moral and ending, but
Fair.
it is much more edgy. I mean, I think part of it is just like the cultural change, like people want something harder core. I think that if something was that nice all the way through and it came out now, people would be like, "Yeah, that's just completely unrealistic and I'm not interested on any level."
Yeah, I mean, part of me sad. Like, I do think that realism and
Well,
prestige TV is kind of becoming the norm,
actually,
and
hold
maybe
on. Rudolph
yeah,
actually isn't that way though, because all the characters are really mean, and there's a lot of oh, if you don't fit the mold, you're considered an outcast, and society hates you. No, that works. That works. I think we just what's it? Well, we glamorize the memory. I think that's more
I
it.
think I think that you might actually be very right. That's an excellent point. Before we move on from here, I wrote down let Lou have Frosty, regardless of when he drafts it. Uh,
Wow.
because I felt like
Your overconfidence is your weakness.
the point that I wanted Frosty was always gonna be lower than you. Uh, so I felt good about that. I'm relieved that I got Grinch because now it gives me an opportunity to take my second on the board, and that is a Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh, okay. Nice. That's not what I was
I think
expecting,
that for
actually.
for a lot of people, this is the one special that got watched every year. Especially for the older generation, maybe not as much now, but I do think that the older generation kind of passed this one down. Um, Now it has a fairly religious ending, so I think that the farther in history we get, the less it may be passed down for that reason.
Does it really?
But
I actually don't remember. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, but I think that it's a lot of people, even if you're not religious, don't really consider it a detractor just because of the fond memories that they have associated. Um,
Huh.
and yeah, there's something I was very bummed that I did not get a Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown in the Halloween draft. Spoiler alert, sorry everybody. And it was important to me that I got Charlie Brown this time, so I'm very glad that it fell to me.
Nice.
Uh, yeah, it's just one of those specials. People cite it as being back in my day, we had to turn on the TV. We only got to watch Charlie Brown Christmas once a year. We couldn't just find it on streaming.
Yeah.
And when Apple TV Plus got the rights and were going to make it an exclusive thing, there was such an outcry from people not being able to watch Charlie Brown Christmas the way that they used to in network TV that Apple TV decided to create a time where anybody could access Apple TV Plus for free to watch this without having to be subscribed to the service because of
Wow.
the outcry of how normal it is for people to watch this specific special every year.
That's
So,
so funny, dude. I
mhm,
love that. Wow. I mean, it's funny. I think that's a solid choice, but I actually didn't have it that high.
mm,
Just cuz it's in the same vein as Frosty and Grinch for me. So I wanted
mhm.
to diversify it a little bit.
Yeah, they do occupy all similar territories that we just talked about. 2D,
Yeah,
wholesome,
exactly.
and classic, uh,
Yeah.
in short.
Yep.
All right, what do you have next?
Well, I wasn't going to do this one this early or at all. I was actually kind of expecting I wouldn't do it at all, but I don't have very many full-length movie choices, so I'm actually going to snipe the Polar Express from you, bud.
Ooh, okay.
I
All
like
right.
this choice. I have my issues with the movie, which I'm not going to go into now because I'm trying to win a competition. Um, but the truth be told is, first of all, in terms of art, this was the first fully, I always keep forgetting what it's called, motion,
Motion capture.
motion capture animated film. The first fully motion capture animated film, and that's allowed for the scope of animation. That's amazing. Um, it gives us a really interesting look on a couple different child's perspectives on whatever they need to learn that's tied to the Christmas season. It doesn't feel hokey. It's got a very like solid moral. I love I love how almost kind of creepy it can get at times. I love
Sure.
that there's like a jump scare scene on the train with the puppet. I like that Santa Claus is potentially, spoiler alert, I guess, the homeless person on the top of the train. And if that is in fact true, then that means Santa Claus is totally down to scare the dickens out of children. And I'm very pro that version of Santa. I think that is phenomenal. And honestly, it's just a modern update, or it's a more modern special that people can get into with new technology. And it's adapting a beloved children's book. And it doesn't have the same, it's the same stuff that we're very used to seeing from other specials that I'm sure we'll end up talking about, some of which we've already talked about. So I think that this is actually going to be a really fresh choice that's really different from everything else on the list, which is why I had it so high.
Nice. Okay. Uh, if you listen to our podcast that we did on the Polar Express this year, I don't need to rehash
Yeah,
my love of this
we don't
special
need
and
to
this movie.
re-who hash it.
That's right. I love, love, love the Polar Express. I understand that it's polarizing. So I'll be honest.
Polarizing.
Yes, there is a piece of me that is a little bit relieved that you took it from me. Um,
Yeah,
I think there is a strong. I would have been very tempted to take it next time,
I know you would have.
uh, because of how much I love it. But I also have a bit of a feeling that Polar Express might be a little bit of a landmine choice.
Yeah, I
Where
think some
some
people don't like
people
it. That's fair.
like there's people that are vehemently against this film. Like
Really?
they really hate it.
That's so
And even though
funny.
that's not a take that I agree with, I had a little bit of reservations about whether I thought it was a good idea to have it on my team at all. Um, I think there would have been a point where I would not have been able to resist and I would have taken it anyway. But I am okay with you having it. You just had a thought.
Oh,
Explain.
I can't explain because I just remembered a different thing that I need to add,
Oh,
like
interesting.
way
Okay.
higher on the list.
Okay. So this is where it's going to start to get tricky for me. Um, and I think that at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and take Rudolph.
Nice. That wasn't even
Uh,
on my top 8.
I consider not taking it. Um, because as nostalgic as I am for it, I don't necessarily think it's the best one out there. But right now,
It's very
I feel like
nostalgically valuable.
I feel like taking Grinch, Charlie Brown Christmas, and Rudolph back to back to back are all like iconic heavy hitters that so many people are very familiar with and love. And it makes me feel like going forward, I might be able to get a little bit more creative with my picks and feel like the iconic ones are here. Um, these might be the 3 most iconic. And
Yeah.
I do love Rudolph. You know, I love watching it every year. Again, I think that I picked 3 that are regularly on people's screens that most of the audience has seen. Something that we haven't talked about yet that I feel like I should. A lot of our audience doesn't really care for the holiday time. You know, that's been clear since we've started.
Halloween, let's go.
Yeah, like I know a lot of people love Halloween, and I know I'm a Christmas person. Um, not all of our audience even celebrates Christmas.
Yeah, yeah.
I know that some of them stick with us and are interested to hear these anyway. And I feel like if I have a risk, it's going to be that people just don't have the same nostalgia associated with some of these that we do. Specifically on my team, I'm a little worried about that.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think that maybe that'll come into play a little bit more later in my list. But I do want to acknowledge it and say that however you choose to celebrate is totally good, and I appreciate you listening anyway.
I agree with that. And I mean, I don't need to talk. We don't need to talk about Rudolph that much. I think the reason I didn't have Rudolph higher is because I actually think it holds up worse than a lot of other of the same style, even of Christmas specials.
I get that.
It might be more iconic in the minds of people because of the song and everything. But I think that when you actually watch it back again, it's a lot cringier than all of the other ones. You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree, and we talked about that in our last
And
episode.
for that reason, you know, say what you want about the Polar Express, but blatant sexism is not part of the Polar Express. I'm just gonna call it as it is. That's why Rudolph wasn't in my top 8, so I don't mind you taking that pick. I'm chill with that.
Yeah. Again, I think that I feel comfortable having the icons of animated Christmas specials on my team, and you know what's interesting? We're not stepping on each other's toes as much on this one as
Oh,
we did for
you better
Halloween.
You be careful what you wish for, my friend.
So you definitely stepped on my toes once, and then I did for you. But I am now.
Well,
Okay, what are you about to do?
I'm about to take Mickey's Christmas Carol.
I really thought about taking it in that spot.
You should have.
I really, really did.
And let me give you the best
Okay.
logic why. The Christmas Carol itself is easily one of the most iconic Christmas stories. It's been adapted a million times, right?
Yep.
We
Yep.
can't say that about almost any other one of these, right?
Yep.
This has been done multiple iterations. There are literally top 10 lists of just the Christmas Carol and which version you could watch. And when it comes to the animated one, I actually I had a toss up because there's 3 good animated ones in my opinion. The Flintstones, I really liked. Mr. Magoo's is really good too. And there's Mickey's. And the thing is, usually I would say that like Disney would, if Disney did it now, I probably wouldn't have been as much of a fan. But all of the characters that actually do this are literally perfect for the roles that they fit. Like,
They are.
you cannot get a better Scrooge than Scrooge McDuck. You know what I mean? Say what you want about all the fantastic actors out there that have covered Scrooge. None of them are actually like that in their person. And I know that Scrooge McDuck is a character too, but like it fits literally perfectly. And then you've got Donald as the, you know, the uncle. You've got Mickey as the you know, the poor hardworking super nice guy working for Scrooge. You've got Tiny Tim, the Mickey Mouse Tiny Tim. And it's all done so well. It's still and the thing I like about it is Disney doesn't pull its punches, which some of the others actually kind of do.
Yeah.
Like you get the sad, hard-hitting plot line with little Timmy. You know what I mean? Um, there's it doesn't feel hokey. It feels like it's taken really maturely and seriously, and it's one of my favorite things that Disney's done in that way for that reason. And I'm so happy to see you so sad that I took it.
I'm kicking myself, honestly, because I did not think that you were gonna go this way, and I thought that I felt like it was more likely you took Rudolph
You
next,
want to know
and
what it
that
is?
was a misread.
I remembered. I remembered the Halloween special and how you took from me what I loved. So I
You
came in
did
here
this.
wanting to take from you what you
Oh,
loved.
and the thing that's rough is that my reasoning is exactly the same for why I would have taken it. I think
Yeah.
Christmas Carol needs to get representation in this draft, and this is the best
It's
choice.
literally the best choice. There are other good
Um,
ones, but this is the best. And Christmas Carol, I mean, in terms of my list, what I've written so far, Frosty Polar Express, Mickey's Christmas Carol, I think this is actually my favorite of those three. I
mhm.
literally love watching this one. It's very, very good. And I love the Christmas Carol too. Like, having a near death experience on the Christmas Eve that teaches you to be a better person because this is the impact you have on other people's lives. Like, I don't think there's a better moral that comes out of any Christmas story. It's that good for me.
Gosh, that breaks my heart that I lost it. I was trying to be strategic,
Dude,
and
and ghosts are clowning on the rich? Like, oh my god, we need more of that in our lives, am I right?
I you know what's funny? For some reason, I had it in my head that you loved the Jim Carrey Christmas Carol,
I like it. It's just
and
it's too long, I think.
yeah, I mean, I agree with that take. Uh, God, that's tough. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Toad as Fezziwig,
Oh
which
yeah.
is an underrated Easter egg for the true Disney fans. I was gonna
Oh.
talk about that had I drafted it.
Yo, if you haven't seen it, go watch it before voting for our list. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow, look at you. You know what? You've elevated your game. I
Oh,
think that you learned from the first
dude, you
draft.
played the meta so hard. I totally wanted to come in here swinging.
Ah,
100%.
all right. Well, this is now very hard, and I am especially unsure what you're gonna do next.
Oh yeah, me too. So
So,
we're good. We're on the same page
so
there.
I'll tell you what. I want to get the one thing on my list that I absolutely don't want to lose, even
Yeah.
though I don't necessarily think you'll draft it next because I was wrong before. I don't want to be wrong again. And I'm going to take what I think is the best episode of a show for the holidays, and that is Arnold's Christmas from Hey Arnold.
Nice. That was not on my
This
list because I don't remember watching it.
Oh my gosh. So I was worried about losing this because frankly, if you have seen this and you grew up with Hey Arnold and you're of that generation, I think I'd be hard pressed to have very many people disagree that in terms of animated shows, this is the best. At least in terms of the ones that are taken more seriously. I bet that people have passionate feelings about some episodes of The Simpsons and things. I frankly just don't know it well enough to draft anything like that. And those are going to be more light. But Arnold's Christmas is a story about immigration, believe it or not.
I
And
didn't actually know that.
the lengths that Arnold and Gerald are willing to go to reunite a son with his daughter.
Oh.
And
Wait, a
it
son
is
with his? You mean a father with his daughter? I'm assuming.
father with his sorry, yeah, father with his daughter. Thank you for correcting me. That would have been weird. Um, but like it takes itself so seriously. And Hey Arnold was always a bit of a serious show. Like it
Yeah.
was self-aware.
Yeah. Hannah
It
Arndt's
had
great.
some really hard hitting themes, and I just felt like the Christmas special is the pinnacle
Yeah.
of that show. And it's the pinnacle of holiday episodes for animated shows because it really makes you feel something. It's beautifully written,
Yeah.
and it takes sort of, the grumpy character of the show having a moment to change their perspective and do the right thing without letting the person even know what they're doing. It hits on a lot of the things that I love about holiday specials, and every time I watch it, I'm just like, wow, this is a masterpiece. And I think that for those who have seen it, this is going to be a massive point in my favor. The
Yeah.
risk, of course, is that many people haven't.
Yeah.
And
I have not
like
seen it.
Lou said, I recommend watching Arnold's Christmas before you vote because it's a
Ooh.
less time commitment than Mickey's Christmas Carol.
No, it's
So I'll
not.
throw
Mickey's
that.
Christmas Carol's like the exact same length.
No, Mickey's Christmas Carol is like less than an hour, but it's longer than a half.
I thought it was half an hour.
I don't think so.
Oh, I could be wrong. Uh, well, I have nothing I could say about it. I'm sure it's good because Hey Arnold's good. But I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
All right.
Let's see. What am I gonna do next? I think I'm gonna get Arthur Christmas on the board.
Okay. I thought you might draft this because I know you love this movie.
Yeah, I think Arthur Christmas is probably, in my opinion. Now, I haven't seen a ton of newer, like new Christmas stuff because it's not really my thing. But I did see Arthur Christmas when it came out in the theaters, actually, with you and Dad. I'm pretty sure. Um, and I actually think it's one of the most refreshing, interesting modern takes on the Santa Claus mythos. Uh, it takes with the modern day. I think that Santa Claus is a lot less believable for a lot of people, right?
Mhm.
We have way too much access to science and phones, and you could look up stuff very easily. You know what I mean? So I think that creates issues for maintaining the believability for a lot of people, right?
Yeah. Which is too bad because we know Santa, you're out there.
Yeah, I overthrew him. He's not out there anymore. I'm the elf. I'm the elf. I'm the elf on the shelf now, Santa. Uh, but
That's right. I almost forgot.
um, but what they do is instead of giving him a sleigh like the classic sleigh, they still have the classic sleigh, but it's been retired. That's the old Santa. Now they have a high-tech spaceship, and they've got like a whole ninja like special ops task force for executing Christmas in bulk because it's gotten so huge. It's an enormous operation now. And honestly, this is what I like about changing classic mythos, right? You need to contextualize it in the modern day. And it does it so brilliantly because if it's like what you said about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, right? If we had that exact story come out now, people would be like, yeah, sure, that happens, 'cause magic, ha ha ha. But it's like, no, we actually get a modern explanation of how this can work. And it makes sense. Like, I watch this being like, dude, like, this is incredible. I mean, let's say somebody Googled on their phone right now, is Santa Claus real? You know what I mean? There could be a special ops in the North Pole dedicated to misinformation to obscure the knowledge so that the mystery is still alive.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, you have the whole and they approach it like a cover up, like this is huge conspiracy that we need to keep Santa Claus under wraps. Even the trailer was like that. If you remember the trailer, there was like some videographer trying to get to the North Pole, and Arthur's there like, hi, I'm Santa Claus's son, and this elf shows up. He's like, no, he's not, that's not real. And they like put a blow dart in his neck or something and make him pass out, and then they run away. It's very cool. And they've also got there's the philosophy of how different generations celebrate in it as well. There's a great
Totally.
dinner scene between all of the different Santas. We have the old Santa, who's kind of off his rocker. He's like the classic Santa that we all know from the early Rankin Bass shows. We've got a current Santa who's still classic, still wearing the red suit. But he's pushing the age limit. And we've got this like millennial, like super militaristic Santa that wants to take on the position next, and he's trying to optimize. He's like the marketer. He's got it all on lock. He's the guy really running the show. And then we've got Arthur, who's kind of trying to bring everyone together. He's the heart of the movie and the heart of Christmas. And like, this isn't about all of the differences between generations. This is about something beautiful we can all share together. And again, something that I love about like doing Christmas right is having good morals that can hit people, that make them, even if it's just for a little bit, act a little less shitty every year. And I think Arthur Christmas is great at that, and that's what I'm really proud of my list so far. Is I think the morals really resonate from all of them. I'm looking at you, Rudolph.
All right. I see what you're doing here. You're trying to go for quality
I
over
always go for
nostalgia.
quality,
Mhm.
always. Iconicism's important, but I mean, look, your number one choice is the Grinch. That's that's a good one. But I think I'm feeling good about this second half. I'm feeling good.
Okay. I'm feeling good about the second half too, and I'm also leaning more toward quality with Arnold's Christmas on the last pick. But I'm gonna draft my first film, which
Okay.
I believe is one that you may not have seen, that you may not even be considered drafting, but I do think that it is the correct next choice. and that is Klaus
Yeah, I had
on
a feeling you'd
Netflix.
choose that one. I haven't seen it, so I couldn't. If even if I wanted to add it, I didn't have intelligent things to say about it, so I didn't want to add it. Unlike you, who stole mine, even though you hadn't seen it. I'm looking at you, Soul Eater. Just saying. Remember, I remember. I remember.
I know you do. So, for those who have seen Santa Claus is Coming to Town, you know that that is a story that sort of explores the origin of how Santa Claus came to be. Klaus takes that idea and perfects it for the modern generation. So I think that I wanted to follow it up with your Arthur Christmas pick because I feel like it's a very nice transition
Yeah.
into talking about it does a lot of the same things very well. I also really love the animation. I think that it's an interesting style compared to a lot of the other types of animated properties we're getting now when it comes to Christmas. And it's sad. It's a tearjerker. Just like Arnold's Christmas. I know that I picked my iconic ones that are full of cheer, but I think I like when my holiday movies make me feel something in a positive way. And it really helps it pay off at the end. Um, for those who aren't familiar, we're kind of getting a guy who is banished to a very isolated village as a mailman because he comes from
Isolated.
okay, that's good.
Aha. Sorry.
He comes from wealth and he, has to learn how to work. And they take him to this place which is just dreary and sad. And he has to understand how to shift people's perspectives uh in order to get people to write letters. And that is how they explore the origin of how Santa comes to be. Um I think it is just an excellent film. And I think maybe this is one that a lot more people have seen because Netflix is so uh commonplace for people. I think it's the number one streaming service that people pay attention to now. And if I'm gonna have a modern choice, this is the perfect one for me.
Yeah.
And
It
yeah, I
it seems
recommend it
like
to
it's
people. I
very.
think it's great.
I'm gonna check it out this year probably. The animation looks really interesting. I'm looking it up right now. The animation looks really interesting. Apparently, it was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, but it lost to Toy Story 4. So we don't take those awards very seriously, is what I would say to that.
Yeah, I mean it I think is a better film than Toy Story 4. I mean maybe depending on how you have criteria, but we know the effort that Disney puts into making sure that its movies win awards.
Yeah. Buttering it up the voters, as they say.
It
But
didn't
no,
work
this
this
looks really
time
cool. I'll
though.
check it out.
Miyazaki got him this year.
Yeah, let's go with that. Technically, that's still Disney, but we're not going to talk about it. Uh,
Yeah, I guess in terms of distribution.
yeah. Well, and I think Disney's responsible for the English voiceovers.
Could be.
But I don't know. Well, nice. That's not a bad pick. I feel like we're at a point where we're gonna not be choosing each other's choices anymore for the most part.
Yeah, that's quite possible.
Let's see. I've got 3 more left, huh? God, I'm going into the backup choices that I was less confident on.
Yeah, I knew that we'd get here eventually. I have plenty of backup choices, and I'm just trying to pick the best ones to give my team the best chance to win.
See, at this point, some of my favorites are kind of stupid. So I'm like,
That could be okay.
do I go with this one or do I go with one that people love a little bit more? You might hate me for the next one that I want to choose, actually. Not even that you would take it, but just that it's on my list and not yours.
Interesting.
You have 2 more left, so I doubt you'll choose it. I just watched
There's
it.
one in particular that, as you say that, it makes me wonder. Maybe I will. Not to give anything
Let's
away.
see.
I'm not drafting as well as I did last time in terms of psychology.
All right. I think I've got a game plan.
All right.
You
What
might
you
think
thinking?
I'm wild for this, but I'm going with a full-blown nostalgic choice that just celebrates animation culture. I'm going Yogi's Christmas.
Oh, Yogi's First Christmas from Hanna-Barbera. I completely forgot about it.
So here's the thing. I watched that on Boomerang on TV growing up, like a lot. And like I I can't say how great it is, but it's got like all of these amazing classic characters from all of the Hanna-Barbera. Like when it comes to animation history, I'm actually really proud of my list because I feel like I've got a ton of diversity. You know, Frosty, I've got, you know, the Rankin. Well, I'll do the summary at the end.
Sure.
But for Yogi specifically, they really brought like every character from the various shows that they were doing into this. And it's very much a story about Yogi learning to be a little bit more mindful of his friends and family. And it's just really sweet. I like the animation. It's just full Christmas vibes the whole way through. We've got the Yellowstone, we've got the snow. Even the ranger comes in and celebrates with everyone at the end. Um, you know, it's a little bit like popcorn movie. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's not even for getting that invested, but it's got the great Hanna-Barbera style. It hits a nostalgic nerve in me really hard. Um, I don't know how many of you have even seen it. I'm not gonna use the same argument. We're like, go watch this one and then vote. Like you might be like,
Yeah.
wow, this is kind of silly. But if you like the style, if you're a fan of animation and animation history, I think it's phenomenal. I really do. Like I love watching it. I watch it every year when I get the chance, and you know, it might be a sillier take, but you know, that's me.
Wow. I love that choice. Um, I'm I'm a little upset that I forgot to add it to my list because growing up, this was one of our favorites that we would watch together.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that people will appreciate that when they vote. However, I do think that this probably of everything on the list is the least seen by people, unless they also grew up with these cartoons in the morning and they have some memories associated with it.
You know, outside of the next two that I'm gonna pick, I don't have very many other good choices on this list at all, so I'm pretty satisfied with what I win.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to do next.
All right, hit me.
Last year, a bunch of the awesome people in the Discord for JBCT
I thought about doing this too. I thought
had a
about it.
watch party,
Yeah.
and there was one TV episode that got voted on by everybody to watch that I had never seen. We all sat down together, I hosted the watch party, and I shared everybody's choices, and these were meant to be specials that were not really heavy on like the Christmassy side of Christmas. Like
Yeah.
hopefully more inclusive of people that necessarily aren't as into that type of thing. Now this is still a Christmas special. It takes place around Christmas time, but is very clearly about more than that. And I was stunned on how good it was because Bob's Burgers is a show
That is
that
not
I
where I thought you were going at all. I totally didn't think you were going that direction. That is wild to me.
it is a show
Okay.
that I have long just assumed is the same as a lot of other comedies that I don't like, such as the Family Guys of the world.
It is
And
better. I agree. It is better.
I was completely wrong. This was the first episode that I had seen of the show, and I thought it was one of the great modern holiday specials that hit me in a lot of the same ways as Arnold's Christmas does, in that it takes itself very seriously. It is funny, but it is just such an honest depiction of what it's like to be a family and having your attention pulled in a lot of different directions during the holidays and how you manage it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take The Plight Before Christmas from Bob's Burgers. I thought it was truly fantastic.
That's awesome. I'll bet you're gonna
And
win some points for people for that one
well,
too.
and let me also use this as an opportunity to plug the JBCT Discord that should be in our description.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube, and also, yeah, if you're listening audio only, I have it in the description there too. Join in the conversation. Sometimes watch parties happen.
I honestly,
I
I
haven't
might.
been able to host them because I've been busy planning to be a dad,
Yeah.
but they will probably be hosted in the future by the awesome people in that Discord. And I wanted to shout them out because that's a very fond memory that I have of a holiday, sharing that with everybody.
Yeah, I also want to say on the Discord note, I try to be in there, but y'all need to know the Discord for someone who's as ADHD as I am is kind of not a place that I can spend anymore because I just get there's too many channels, there's too many servers, there's too many messages I get from people. And like I'm so busy that like I'll try to jump in and say stuff, but if I'm not careful, I will just be stuck there reading random stuff for way too long. So if I'm ever there, I'll probably only be in the main chat from here on out, but I will try to stop in and say hello occasionally.
Cool. Well, you thought that I was about to say something else.
Yeah, the thing that I thought you were going to say was not animation now that I remember. But never mind. Um
Okay.
I'm a little surprised to hear you go Bob's Burgers route. It actually is making me want to, believe it or not, I'm actually I have 3 good ones left,
Mhm.
and I don't know what to prioritize now. And I'll just say the
Yeah,
one that I'm thinking of because I know you won't add it since you added Bob's Burgers. I was thinking about adding the Simpsons one.
okay. I'm sure there's more than one. There's more than one Bob's Burgers as well, but maybe
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
one Simpsons one that everybody loves. I don't
There's
know.
one Simpsons one that is very, very sweet and wholesome, and same thing, family, very much more of a realistic depiction of families coming together for the holidays. But the thing is, I don't actually watch that every year, and I don't want to be ingenuine. I just know that people watch it.
Mhm.
And so I'm actually going to go with another one that maybe no one's seen, but it's probably the best thing on either of our lists.
I know what you're gonna say.
I'm saying Peace on Earth.
That is not what I thought you were gonna say, and what a terrific choice that is. Okay. Please
Guys,
explain to people who have not seen it and who should right away.
so this is one I will say watch this. It's only 9 minutes long. It's an animated short film uh that it starts out with a bunch of cute little animals talking about their holiday celebration. And it's a post-war world. Humanity is literally dead. We messed up, and it all ended for us. And they are talking about what the real, true spirit of Christmas is and why humanity dropped the ball on it. And it's all about what real peace on earth means, what goodwill towards people is, and you know, it's short, it's brilliantly animated. It's like it'll bring a tear to your eye. You know,
We
in
did a
my
very early video on it.
Yeah, we did a video on the channel about it. Yeah. I'm interested what you thought I was going to say. We'll talk about that because the next one I have is not one that you're expecting for sure.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I just it's one that has so much gravity to it, and it's nice to have Christmas specials that are nice, and make you feel good, like Frosty, right? But
Mhm.
I think that something that gets lost a little bit in the modern day, which is the reason that I actually struggle with Christmas as a holiday and maybe don't like it as much, is because a lot of it's really hypocritical. We watch all these movies that say it's not about the presents, and then it's always about the presents in the movie. It's like, oh, it's not about the presents, but we're still gonna like lavish our family with the most extravagant gifts at the end of the movie because let's be honest, that's what a lot of people make. It's just commercialism has really messed up what the spirit of I almost said Halloween. The spirit of Christmas is.
Yeah.
I mean, commercialism messes up a bunch of stuff, but Peace on Earth, there's literally none of that. There is no commercialism. It is the opposite of that. There's like, this is not about gift giving. This is about just the morals, and it's a cautionary tale of what we do if we don't clean up our act a little bit. And it's my reminder to be a mindful and kind person, and stuff's really divisive in the world, and it's hard to want to be peaceful when there are people out there that believe things that are so opposing to what you believe in, and maybe even are actively harming you and the people that you love in the way that they believe it. And it's so hard to figure out how to be empathetic and try to still be peaceful when that's going on. But it's still such an important thing to maintain in your life. And I don't think any other thing that we could possibly talk about in regards to the holiday does it better than that.
Wow. Beautifully said. Amazing, amazing short film. You're being authentic to the choices. I appreciate that. I
I,
like how you're talking about
I
them.
have to, because otherwise I'll just accidentally start shit talking my own choices, because that's how I feel. So I can't do that. I couldn't do it for this one.
So, all right, I'll let you into my strategy because this is my seventh and last pick. But I'll stop short of saying what other things I'm thinking about, just because we are gonna have a speed round for backups, and I don't want to spoil what I'm gonna do for that.
Oh, that's right. Well,
Um,
the core 7 is what matters. That's what you should vote on first, and the speed
yes,
round is only if you're undecided.
yes, 100%.
So I just say that before we get to the speed round, because my speed round might suck.
So I am trying to see if I can fill a gap on my team. I started with 3 icons that everybody knows to make sure that I'm covered there. If people look at the list, they're not sure what to do. They say, "Oh, well, that's strong right there." Um, I have a newer animated movie that is considered one of the best new Christmas films. I have two of the most iconic Christmas episodes of TV. And ones that I think operate or like fill different niches of audiences. I think there's some
Yeah.
people that love Bob's Burgers, some people that love Hey Arnold from different generations.
And then you have the Pac-Man Christmas special. You could just tell me.
It's the Pac-Man Christmas special, everybody. How did you know?
I cannot believe. I just know you, man. I just know you.
So at the end of the Halloween draft,
Bro, it's
Lou,
so
who loves
bad.
Halloween, picked a super weird
I did.
special that he personally loved.
It's still the
And
Grinch. It's not that weird. It's not the Pac-Man special. That's like
People
that's
know who Pac-Man is. Listen, people, this thing is a wild, fun ride that never stops being fun. You may not have even known there was a Pac-Man cartoon. Well, there was. And if you're gonna watch one episode, this is it.
Oh my
It's
god.
so silly. It's so fun. And I literally watch it every single year. I was gonna maybe hold off, but the fact that you picked Yogi's First Christmas, which is also one that I think a lot of people probably haven't seen, I am also comfortable picking one that I
Dude.
think a lot of people haven't seen.
I'll bet Yogi's has had way more viewers than the Pac-Man ones still, though.
I
That's
feel like
so
I wanted
funny.
one super random weird special, and I wanted something from Hanna-Barbera because a lot of my memories were just watching Boomerang with all of these Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Same, dude. Same.
I
I love that you chose that.
I didn't draft any Scooby-Doo because I think that any Christmas special that people remember might be a little bit too unique. Like, you know, you've seen Scooby-Doo, but you may not have seen every Christmas special they
That's
did.
how I felt too.
So I gotta do Pac-Man, dude.
I like that you chose it.
There was another route I could have gone, but this is what I want to do for my heart. If I stray too far from my actual heart and soul picks, because of how heartfelt you're being, I feel like I could lose points. So I don't want to play the game so hard that I am not being authentic to myself. And this makes me feel like my entire team is very authentic to myself, is a bunch of things that I love, but I also think are beloved by others.
Yeah.
And I'm thrilled with how my team looks.
So you went with an authentic choice just so you didn't look like you were being unauthentic. What an inauthentic thing to do. No, I'm just kidding.
What is authenticity? Do you want to get into the
Oh
sociology of
my
that?
god. I actually wrote a paper on that in college. Authenticity is very interesting.
I wrote about how authenticity plays a sociological key to how people consume music, but
Oh, interesting. I was talking about subcultures when I wrote about mine.
also interesting.
Yeah, I think I wrote about the punk scene and how that navigates. But anyway, I like that choice. I'm going with one that is also a soul favorite of mine, but it's one that's also absolutely phenomenal. Not that the Pac-Man one's not. It's very fun. It's very silly. I think that neither of us would say that it's like one of the best ones on either of our lists, right? This one is phenomenal. It's my soul choice. I'll bet you don't even know. Do you know what I'm going to say?
100% because I almost picked it.
The Adventure Time Holly Jolly Christmas?
Or
Holly Jolly
never
Secrets?
mind. I will shut up.
Yeah, okay. I didn't think so. I'm like, there's no way you chose this because you don't even know what it is. So you might be surprised to hear that there is actually a Adventure Time Christmas special. It's a two-parter, actually. It's called Holly Jolly Secrets. And let me just say this now to everybody. If you haven't seen it, do not watch it before voting for this list because it has huge spoilers for one of the most important parts of the entire series. It gives you the backstory of the Ice King. And I am honestly not even going to talk about a lot of it because I don't want to spoil anything for you. But essentially, the Ice King starts making it snow outside of Finn and Jake's house. And they find a tape that belonged to the Ice King. And they watch the tape. So, what we're getting is a snow day where our main characters, and they invite a bunch of their friends over to watch stuff as well, right? Our main characters have family and friends and loved ones over while it's snowing out to watch something on TV. Now, TV isn't really a thing in Adventure Time because it's kind of a post-apocalyptic world. And this is a really sweet thing. And they do even like there's like a little thing at the end where they do like a sort of gift exchange, and they're wearing all of their winter cozy clothes. There's a fireplace going, so all of the winter vibes are very heavily there. And at the end they say, wow, this was really awesome, and we learned a lot about a person that we definitely weren't giving a chance, and let's make this a tradition every year. And there's that moral that is really beautiful and heartwarming and loving. There's also the fact that what we learn, which I can't talk about, it's one of the most jaw-dropping, mind-blowing things that you see in a long-form animated show. And I'm not exaggerating. If you were watching Adventure Time, if you've seen it all the way through, you might watch it every year. I've been tempted to show it to Alec just so you have the Ice King's background, because Adventure Time isn't really a linear story anyway. And you really could watch it, but I think having a little bit more experience with the Ice King before you see it makes the payoff a lot harder. So that's my one caveat, but like, it's probably the best quality, and the animation's great. I love Adventure Time animation and voice acting and all that. Tom Kenny is the Ice King. In my opinion, it's the best in terms of quality and story Christmas animated thing that was on TV in terms of a serialized canon. It may not be the most nostalgic for people yet because it's a little bit newer, but my God, is it something amazing. And that's going to close out my list. And I will say, I think you have a great list. And I honestly almost want to say mine might be higher quality, but I haven't seen some of the ones on yours, so I actually can't say.
That's fair. I think they're close. I really do.
I think it's close.
I felt the same way about the Halloween draft. I think it depends a little bit on what people have seen. Probably depends on our audience.
Yeah,
I love
personal
your
taste.
list. It's well-rounded. So let's go over this. So Team Alec.
Yep.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas. A Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yep.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Arnold's Christmas from Hey Arnold. Klaus. The Plight Before Christmas from Bob's Burgers. And the Pac-Man Christmas Special.
That's so funny.
And over on Team Lu, we have Frosty the Snowman. The Polar Express, Mickey's Christmas Carol, Arthur Christmas, Yogi's First Christmas, Peace on Earth, the old short film, and the Adventure Time Christmas special.
Holly Jolly Secrets.
There you go.
Part 1 and 2.
All right, so if you are on YouTube, please now leave the comment on who you think is the winner. And if you are listening on Spotify, you have the ability to also do that. If you're listening to another podcast platform, you'll have to go into one of those to vote, either YouTube or Spotify.
We'll give you a moment right now.
If you're doing it on Spotify, feel free to also just mark that 5 stars while you're at it, by the way.
Oh yeah, hit like on the YouTube video also, and subscribe if you haven't.
Subscribe if you haven't.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you are torn, you can't decide, these lists are really close. We're going to do a speed around really quick to have 3 extras to help you make your decision. We're not going to explain these. Maybe like a brief sentence, if that. This is where I am going to go ahead and take the Yule Lads from Hilda.
Oh, is that a Christmas special?
It is a holiday special, which is taking place during that season, but it refers to the Icelandic myth of the Yule Lads, which is a different take on the holidays, and it's excellent.
I honestly have not seen that yet. I need to check that out. I don't have streaming services anymore, so I need to go find that. All right, nice. I'm gonna go with Jack Frost. Not the crappy one with that guy that's not my favorite actor. But the old Rankin Bass one I'm talking about, the CGI one.
Got it. Same logic. I'm gonna take A Year Without Santa Claus. I think this is a lot of people's favorite Rankin Bass film, underrated, because it has the Heat Miser and Snow Miser, and people just remember that very well from their childhoods.
That's actually why I went with Jack Frost. I remember I was dating someone who was like, this one was my favorite growing up. I love it. And I actually like the Jack Frost story a lot.
Nice. All right. What's next?
You know what? I wasn't gonna do this one because it's so stupid, but I'm gonna do Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Okay, I slightly considered it. It's so bad, but it is a fun
It's
time.
so bad it's good, right?
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
there's a whole movie based on the idea that Santa Claus levels an old lady while landing. Like, come on, that's hilarious. And it adds
Mhm.
diversity to my list, so yeah, sure, why not?
Oh god. Okay, last one is really, really hard. I am gonna end this by being a jerk because I'm guessing either the
There's
fact
no
that
way
this
you've got a read on me. I'd be shocked if you had the read on me.
well, there was one that I was expecting you to pick the whole time, and I considered sniping it from you, but I felt as though it has not been well seen by people. And the fact that you didn't draft it already means A, you forgot about it, or B, you actually don't consider it a holiday special after all. And it's one that I have not seen. So,
You could just mention it after. I don't even know I have no idea what you're talking about. Maybe doesn't even consider it a Christmas special?
see, I feel like for some people, seeing this on my team would be enough to give me the tiebreak if they have seen it and they are unsure right now. Whereas I don't know if there's anything else on the list that will break the tie this strongly. So I'm going to take Tokyo Godfather.
Oh, fuck me.
Would you like to explain to people why you're upset?
No, because you haven't seen it, and I think you need to explain it.
Okay.
What's it about?
So here's what you need to know, everybody, is that every single year, Lucas tries to get me to watch Tokyo Godfathers. It is Godfathers with an S, I misspoke. Uh,
And
and
like a
he
good
says,
brother, he hasn't.
because Lou has been very forthcoming to me about admitting that it can be very triggering and a very tough watch at
That is
certain points.
not what I was saying about. That's a completely different Satoshi Kon movie that I was talking about.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe triggering is the wrong word, but it is intense. And
It's
it's
pretty. I mean, it's not that intense compared to the rest of Satoshi Kon stuff.
sure. And by all means, Lou, use this opportunity to try to drag me through the mud for taking this despite having not seen it.
I mean, I
Uh,
wasn't gonna add it on mine because I did forget about it. I'll just straight up say that. So I got nothing
well,
to drag. I can't
sure,
believe
then
I forgot. I'm so
I
silly.
am glad. I'm glad that it's coming up so that we can at least give it the credit that it deserves because I do take you on your word that this is one of the great holiday films and probably one of the great films out there. And I know how great Satoshi Kon is. I know his reputation.
Yeah.
And I also know that we don't have a single anime on here. And there's some people that love anime and want to see it on one of our lists.
Yeah,
So
that's
why
true.
have it not be mine? You know, especially knowing how great it is. Again, when I watch a Christmas special, I really want to feel good at the end, and I think that that's the reason that I have been hesitant to watch it.
What about me pitching it to you makes you think that that it won't make you feel good at the end?
I mean, you just said it's very serious, and I don't know. I don't know. You didn't leave me with the impression that it would.
Wow, actually, you know, when I look at the rest of your list, you don't have very many serious things on there.
Arnold's Christmas is serious.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'd even say Klaus is kind of serious, but yeah,
I
I
haven't
think
seen
that
Klaus, so I
this
don't know.
one it helps balance out my team. It makes it rounder.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Um
Uh, all right. What are you gonna do last?
I'm gonna go with The Simpsons. Uh, roasting on an open fire.
Okay.
Because you know, Simpsons isn't my favorite thing overall, but it is a very wholesome episode, and it does what you said the Bob's Burgers thing did. Um, and I actually think that my list is very, especially with that rounding it out at the end. I actually think that overall, I have a phenomenal scope of animation.
Sure.
I'm very proud of my list. I will say, if I had remembered Tokyo Godfather, I probably would have put it in my last three as well.
Do you think you
Um,
would have waited for that, or you would have ended up drafting it in your top
I
seven?
would not have put it in my top seven. Not because I don't think it's great, but just because, I mean, partially because I don't think that you would have gone for it, but also because it's it's not like the most it's not it's It is a holiday movie, but like more at the end. It's not like the most holiday movie throughout most of it.
Got it.
You know what I mean? It's more like how Die Hard's a holiday movie, but Die Hard is almost takes place during the holidays more often than Tokyo Godfather even does. It's very much part of the background, and then it's like, oh, this is the holidays kind of towards the end.
Fair enough. And
Um,
that's why I wasn't willing to take it in my top 7. Hopefully,
I think it is a phenomenal movie. I think its connection to the holidays, I probably oversold just to try to get you to watch it, to be honest.
yeah, that sounds you,
Um,
you really made it sound like this is a holiday film, but that's fine.
yeah. Well, I mean, hey, I baited you into, into putting it there, but it's great.
I'm
You know what
happy
I
with
mean? It's still good
I
on
think
the
it's a
list.
good to have on your tie break list.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think it's solid. Hmm.
Anything that
Interesting.
anything that you almost drafted that didn't.
No, literally no.
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
got everything on there. A Klaus I had on mine, like, but I never saw it, so I had it really low because I was like, I can't even talk about this. And for me, explaining myself is one of my strong suits when it comes to a competition like this.
Mhm.
So if I can't explain why I added it, it's not something that I should do because that's like one of the better like I feel like that's one of my strengths is the narrative of it.
I get it.
Uh, and I can't sell something that I don't know about.
Well,
Um,
good. I'm glad you got everything that you wanted.
yeah, I actually literally don't have a single other thing on my list. In fact, if you had taken any other one of the things on my list, I would have been screwed.
Wow. All right. Well, I will mention that I did consider taking Christmas Who from SpongeBob several times.
Oh, yep,
Uh,
yep, yep.
I actually think it's a great Christmas special. My
Forgot about
issue
that
was
one.
that I picked 2 other TV episodes, and I felt like 3 might have been overkill.
Yeah.
Um, all of the other reindeer, I just like it. I think there's
All of
a
the other reindeer, that movie?
yeah.
Bro, that is so bad. That is literally a terrible movie.
The animation is bad, but the dialogue is very good, and I do think that there's a contingency of people that love it, but I couldn't quite bring myself to draft it.
This is my
Um,
issue is when I was looking at lists, I gotta be honest, everybody. This is probably bad for a closing argument, but I think a lot of Christmas specials are just absolutely terrible. Like, not even
fair.
kind of good. Like, I watch it, I'm like, gee, I think some of the Rankin Bass ones are actually kind of terrible too. Um,
Yeah,
which is why I only had Frosty and I didn't have any of the other live action ones. Cause like at the end of the day, I actually think they're all kind of bad,
gotcha.
you know?
Well, I know I get it. I also considered Shrek the Halls, which we had a
I
great
did
time
consider
watching.
that one. I did consider that.
I think not enough people have seen it.
It's very funny. There's a
The
scene.
Lego?
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Just really quick. There's a scene in Shrek the Halls, everybody, where everyone's like telling their like holiday Christmas stories. And then Gingy stands up. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is a horrible holiday for me. And like, we literally see Santa Claus eat his wife.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
And he has like a PTSD flashback. And they're like, ah, shut up, Gingy. We're not here. And I'm like, what? It's
Forget
one of
about
the
your
most
drama.
it's one of the most out of left field hilarious jokes I've seen in anything in my life. Honestly, I should have added that one on my shoutouts.
Yep. The Lego Star Wars Holiday Special is surprisingly very funny.
I saw that come up on lists and I just was like, I have to watch that before I even want to think about adding it.
Sure. And I'd say that the number one that we missed out on that is probably considered many people's favorite, I knew nothing about it, is Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas from Community.
I don't even know what that
Um,
is.
Community is all live action, but this specific episode was animated.
Oh,
And
really? Oh, that would have been an
yeah,
interesting pick. That's
and
I'll check
people
that out.
love the hell out of that. And I wasn't going to be able to. I've seen the first season of Community and I really liked it, but I did not have enough context to properly draft it.
What I did almost say was The Nightmare Before Christmas.
That would have been a good throwback
I thought
to the
about it.
discussion that we had. Yeah, it
But
would have been fun.
I disagree. When people who say it's a Christmas movie, I heavily disagree because we see Christmas Village for like 10 to 15 minutes of the whole film, and the rest is all Halloween imagery. So like, I think there's not very strong argument in my opinion, but there is a debate, and I'll give it that. Any
Sure.
closing arguments?
No, I like both of our lists a lot.
No, no. This
Um,
you should have a closing argument. I'll help you out. This is a debate. You want to have a closing argument?
Fine. I believe that I'm trying. The hard thing is, like, I think our lists have a lot of similar strengths. I think that they both have variety. Um, I think that mine is more iconic, and it also has better niche picks, and it has some of the best holiday things that I think a lot of people haven't seen. So that would be my case.
That's your case. I will say I think that yours has niche picks. I think my niche picks are definitely better though. Peace on Earth and Yogi's Christmas I think are much better than the niche picks that you chose.
I think Plight Before Christmas and Arnold's Christmas are sleepers. I think those are two of the best episodes of TV, period.
Bro, you didn't talk about the Pac-Man Christmas special. That's the niche pick. Bob's Burgers isn't that niche.
Well, that's true. I mean, listen. I think that Pac-Man defines me in terms of
Hey, you
how I
had your
just love
closing
to watch
statement.
it's 80s glory. Sorry, you're right.
What I would say is that I think that I have the higher quality list. I do think it's close, but I do think in terms of the the Christmas moral strength, mine edges yours out just a little bit. You've got Grinch as your powerhouse. And I think you do have stronger powerhouses, but I think I have a stronger consistent list. And I think that some of the ones that I have on my list will make you straight up cry and really feel something and make you want to be a better person. And that's what the holidays are all about.
Very good. Well, this has been a lot of fun, everybody. Don't forget to vote because you will help decide who gets to pick what the next draft is.
Yes.
I'm gonna be gone for a bit,
Yeah.
so
Everybody say
that's kind of
peace.
sad.
Peace on
Say
Earth.
again?
Everybody say everybody say peace. Say peace to Alec in the comments. Wish him luck on being a dad.
That's right.
Everybody.
And let me say,
No, go ahead.
I hope that everybody has like a tremendous new year and that this is an amazing time for you to refresh. I know that it's going to be huge for me, my biggest New Year's ever.
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever's ailing you, I believe in you. And I think that you can turn a new leaf this new year. So, best of luck, everybody. I hope your lives are beautiful.
I second that. Yeah. Have embody the world that you want to see. If that's peace, which I hope it is, then be peaceful.
There you go.